Welcome to PK Woodworking. I know it's been a long time, but I've been busy, and I'll show you why. Got a few new machines, but today is kind of an unveiling day for me. I've had a journey here with the joiner planer combo over a few years, so let's get right to it. First things first, SCM paid for this shirt and this tape measure, and I think I got a couple of flashlights. Otherwise, I've paid for everything else that I've got in this shop. So this is not influenced by SCM whatsoever, just a decision that I made to purchase this machine behind me. So let's go backward for the journey of what I've been through so far. So this is going to be my fourth jointer, and I think probably my sixth planer, because it's a combo joiner planer together. And you may have seen another video in the past where which would probably be, up here if I link it, where I had purchased a Felder joiner planer combo. I bought a 8941, and it took, I don't know how many, maybe 8 months to get, something like that. Had that for a year, really liked that planer. You could see the review that I was happy with that planer. The only thing I was unhappy with was my decision that I should have gotten a bigger one. I really wanted after using that for a while, a 20-inch joiner planer combo. So I started a journey of looking and researching. I looked at Felder's offerings. I looked at going separates. I looked at all different kinds of products, including during the middle of this, Martin decided to reintroduce a joiner planer combo. But wasn't available when I ordered this, and seems to be missing a key feature that I really wanted on this particular machine. So anyway, long story short, this is a SCM L'invincible FS7 joiner planer combo. It is a 20-inch combo, I guess 20 and a half, 520 millimeters, give or take. A little bit bigger, I think 530 on the planer part. And I'll give you a kind of a scenario of why I purchased this particular one versus some of the other SCM offerings. So SCM offers two other planers, joiner planer combos in the 520 millimeter or 20 and a half inch range. They offer a Minimax, which I think is called the FS52 ES, and they offer a Nova, which is the 520 FS 520 Nova. And they have similarities to this, some differences. So I'm not an expert, but I'm going to tell you what I think I know about the difference of what it is. First things first is the length of the beds. So the length of the beds on this particular SCM is 2,328 millimeters, or 91 3/4 of an inch length. Again, like 20 inches wide. I mean, it's wider than that, but 20 and a half inches wide, give or take. And then it widens up in the middle part of it and then narrows down again at the other side. And then on the, I'll show you the measurements on the planer bed, but it's 900 millimeters long. Both of those measurements are longer by 2 inches, I believe, give or take, because it's millimeters, on the planer bed, and about 3 inches, give or take, on the jointer bed. So that was something that was longer. I really wanted the longest bed I could get in a joiner planer combo. And then also, when I flip this up, you'll see, and you can probably see from the top, that the way that it's finished is different than the other two SCM combos. This is a mirror finish. It has no machine marks whatsoever on it. It's kind of like a major anomaly. I've never seen something like this on a machine like this. It's almost too pretty to use, but I use it. And that was also one of the things that kind of intrigued me about it. I didn't know it was going to look like this until I got it, because I believe I'm one of the only, if not the only person in the North America that has this machine. So all I could do is look at some people that had the separate L'invincible machines, and I didn't know that it was quite up to this kind of a finish quality, but it is. The other differences between the machines are going to be some of the characteristics of actually the carcass. So this machine has a small plate across the bottom that hides the feet. So when you want to move it around with a floor jack or something like that, you can remove that and go into it and look underneath it. It's got 3 posts that it actually is supported with versus 4 on the other machines. So part of the carcass is different. Maybe not all of the carcass. I believe the fence is very similar to them. So it's got an overfold fence that comes with it. So it makes it easy when you're trying to, use small pieces with it. This feature is definitely different on one of them. It has a small, like, tubular handle that moves up and down to tilt this. This has, this particular thing on a kip lever that moves it up and down, which is neat. And then this actual arm is slightly different on the FS7 than it is on the other 2 SCMs. I believe the other 2 SCMs here are connected differently here and move out of the way different. But again, I'm not an expert on how that works. The other things that are slightly different is that this comes with a 15 horsepower motor. 15 horsepower motor, and that's the only option for it. The one of the 2 of those other SCMs, I believe you can option it with a 15, but I think it only comes normally with a 9 or 11 horsepower motor. And then this feature right here, which they call Ready 3, which is really the reason that I wanted to get this machine, because I compared it to the Felder Format 4 Dual 51, and I really wanted to get the ability to dial in a specific number when I'm doing planing. Since I'm a one-man shop, if I need to come back and go right to 210 millimeters, which I don't know why I would, because that's big, I can go right back to that and it comes right to it. It's very accurate. So yeah, that's kind of this in a nutshell. I'll show you some of the other features it has that are definitely different. So this has a feature, because it's really, really a heavy machine. It's over, I think it's somewhere around 2,200 pounds. This has a feature where you can open it via air lift support. So you just press the button, goes up to the top. This flips over to cover the actual cutter head. And then you don't have to do anything to move the actual output of the dust collection. It stays in one space, which is really cool feature for this, because in my Felder I did have to move it. It wasn't a huge hassle, but I did have to move it. So I'll call out one thing here first. The way that the castings are done here look different than when you look at the castings of the other 2 SCMs. They don't have the identical webbing. I don't know what that means. If it's different, done at a different factory, whatever, I don't know. But it does look different. And you'll notice that this is a full parallelogram system. So it's got these rods that are on parallelogram connections on the front and the back, which is definitely cool. You'll notice that this piece right here is finished. I should say machined to a finish. And then I believe on the other 2 SCMs, there are holes that are in this part of this. It's either a casting or just welded steel where this connects to, and that's not how this one works. So that's another difference. This is connected with this little piece right here and a lock up here at the top that locks it, which is different than the 2. So that's definitely something that's different in the 2 pieces. Let me come back up here and move it up again. Okay, so then on the back side, when you move this, it's just pretty simple. It's got a kip lever on the back, and you want to move it forward, you can move it forward. It's on a bearing, and it rides really simply and easily. And it's definitely a tall fence, so no issues. It's very strong. It does not move when it's locked in, so that's really cool. This fence that it comes, the guard I said that it comes with is a lot like the guard on my Felder. So you can pull it right here and it basically comes down and then separates like that so that you don't have to walk around it all the time. And then the adjustment for it actually going up and down, you just move it forward. That's as high as it will go. And then as you come down, you can just lock it to wherever you want. You move this little thing and it slides in and comes back as far as you want it to come back. So there you go. The Martin and a couple of other machines that are out there can be had with what's called the Suvomatic bridge, which is a really unique kind of a cutter cover slash safety guard that's made that is, it kind of self-adjusts as it goes. That's actually made for this machine too. You can purchase it separately from Suvomatic. I mean, maybe someday I would think about that, but I used it on a Martin and it kind of sticks way out here, and right now this works perfectly for me. I like it. I'm going to keep it. Not something for me at this point in time. So let's get more into just the nuts and bolts of the machine. It is, I ordered it. Oh, got to hit press both. I ordered it with the xylent head. And if I click this button right here, it opens it up so I can see the actual cutter head. This lets you change the teeth if you want, or the little chiclets, I guess, of the cutters on this when you need to. I've only had this for about 4 months, so I haven't done that yet. And it's really simple. You just press the button, it's there, it does it. Piece of cake. So flip it back up and there it goes. So a couple of things I wanted to say about just SCM in general. A lot of people ask about, like, hey, how's the company to deal with? Well, first things first, I only have a couple of different companies that I have of machines, but I would say that Felder for me has been a great company. I've ordered multiple machines from Felder, and my local person here has been amazing, and the times that I've had to call up and talk to somebody at Felder for parts has been fine for me. So I don't have any arguments whatsoever for Felder and my Format 4 machines. I love those machines. For SCM, I have had, again, nothing but great things to say about SCM. Out here on the West Coast, you buy SCM from another dealer. You don't buy it directly from SCM per se. So my dealer was great, easy to deal with. And then from SCM perspective, you have somebody like Sam Blasco, who you can reach out to and ask questions all the time. Since no one had ever had this machine that we know of on the West Coast, I couldn't go see one or look at it. And so Sam gave me a lot of information about it, where he's seen it before in Europe. They do sell a lot of these in Europe. And so he gave me the information on the fit and finish and how good it was and those kind of things and how it was to work with. So that felt great. Gave me a lot of information along the way. They quoted me somewhere around 10 months, 11 months for it to be manufactured and delivered to me. And they basically hit that number pretty closely. The only problem was the local port here in LA was backed up, but they hit their number when they said it was going to be here. LA was the challenge for us. So that was great. I picked this up directly from SCM at their warehouse in LA. I have some video of that. I'll probably be putting that in here as I'm talking, who knows. But I have some video of that. They loaded it on my trailer. I got a tilt deck trailer. They loaded the unit on the trailer and I took it home here. So here is one difference. It came in a large crate. So the whole machine came in a long pallet that was fully planked along the bottom and then covered with OSB and on the sides and everything. It had FS7 on the side of it, my serial number. I knew it was mine when I showed up. There was, I think it's just a different way of packaging in Italy than they were doing on the machines I've gotten so far from Felder. So that is one difference for sure. It came perfect, flawless. I didn't have to adjust anything. I haven't had to adjust anything. It's worked great out of the gate. So I think that would be one difference maybe between the two. I'm gonna talk through a couple of other differences about the machine kind of also as we go. So if you look at this machine's fence compared to, I guess I should have gone all the way, compared to my felder was actually held on from this back side over here. So there's a bar that goes along here, and then the fence is kind of held on by there. This machine doesn't have anything on this end or this end to keep you from adding on anything to help support, like wood, if you really wanted it to support something really long. So I've purchased these Einer connection plates that are made for a couple of Einer extensions that I have over there. And I'm gonna mount these onto the both sides of this joiner end, and it comes with the hardware you need for it from them. One on one side, one on the other. I already have them. And then if you needed to do something really long and to have support for it, that's how you would do it. And it would be not really challenging to do the same thing on that particular felder because it had that end. Now, if you move to the felder Dual 51, which is their joiner planer combo that's 20 inches wide, it has a totally different fence than mine did. So it is possible to put something on either end of the felder too. It's got lighted buttons that are kind of, I don't know, kind of fun, kind of cool. But it's also got something called star delta start. So to reduce the amount of current it pulls while I'm starting it. I'm running all of my machines in my shop with a phase perfect that runs 3-phase machines. This is obviously a 3-phase machine, and it's on the outside. You might be able to hear it buzzing a little bit, but actually I'm only running it with a 10 horsepower phase perfect. I think the phase perfects are radically underrated, or underrated, and so they'll definitely do more than just whatever they're rated for normally. So let's give her a start, and you can listen to it. And it gets through that star delta start, and there it is. She's running. And stops very quickly. It's already stopped. It's got a brake, electronic brake for the motor. Dust collector will turn off in a second. One also difference about this machine than my felder is how many emergency stops there are. There's an emergency stop here, there's an emergency stop here, and believe it or not, there's an emergency stop back here at the back side also. So that's definitely different too. So let me open this up again, and then we'll kind of show you the rest of the differences. So one of the other things that's different about this than my felder is that you don't have to lower the bed all the way down to be able to open and close this. I think I have it at 31.9 millimeters, so it's like what, 1.5 inches or something like that, 1.25 inches. And I don't have to do that. I don't have to move it up and down that way. It's just easy. So for this particular machine, if I just want to move it to 50 millimeters, and you can change it to inches if you want to, you just type in 50 equals, this little blue button turns live. You press that button and it moves. It's got a separate motor for the up and down raising, and it's a 4-post planer. Very, very robust. Actually, let's go a little farther. Let's go to like 100 so I can measure this for you. Let me get out my trusty SCM freebie measuring tape. Actually, go the other way. So this is, like I said, this is 900 millimeters or 35.5 inches long. And it has 0 snipe, so I don't need an extension on it. I mean, I was told there is an extension as an accessory, but Sam Blasco told me I didn't need it, so I didn't buy it. And you know, that's pretty much the whole deal there. It is one difference between this. Oh, by the way, I do not know if the Martin requires you to move the table up and down for you to be able to close or open the top. I have no clue whether it requires that or not. No idea. This has a transmission with 4 speeds. So on a lever on the side, which on the B-roll I'll end up showing you, it's got 4 different speeds. I run it most of the time on the 2nd speed. I mean, I guess it's so powerful, I don't think I'd have a problem running anything through it at the fastest speed. But I did have a friend come over and use something to flatten out a 20-inch wide top, and it was no problem. Didn't phase it whatsoever. I ordered this with a segmented infeed roller. So it has small sections that are split apart for the infeed roller that have an ability to move up and down so that you can put in multiple pieces of wood at the same time that are different heights, and it grabs them, it can move them through. And it also has a rubberized rear roller, and so far so good. This thing has no problems feeding anything I've ever given to it. Nothing gets stuck. I mean, it's new, but still nothing gets stuck. The other cool part about the SCM machines that are different than some of the other ones is that you can easily change the rollers on the machine without taking the whole machine apart. I'm told it's about a 30-minute process versus hours of process, but you can easily take out and replace or refinish or resurface that outfeed, that rear rubber outfeed roller if you want to. So that's kind of cool. Secondarily, there's some programmable functions in here. If I always want to do something to start at like 25 millimeters, I can dial in 25 millimeters just by going to one of the function keys. And I can also make it so that one of the function keys automatically moves the planer up a certain amount every time I want to take a cut. You know, if I want to take a millimeter at a time, I can do that. 2 millimeters at a time, I can do that. Whatever you want, just by programming that kind of stuff into it. So that's kind of fun too. It came set from the factory for the outfeed roller. I mean, the outfeed table, I didn't have to adjust that whatsoever. It's fine on the top. So yeah, you can adjust the table up and down while it's running. Obviously, that's not a problem whatsoever. So comes with some pretty big manuals. This is the manual for the actual machine itself. Really comprehensive, and nothing missing from this whatsoever. The Ready 3 manual, which is like the manual just for this control over here, is translated. And it's okay. I figured it out. You know, whatever. Let me talk about how I feel about it. Okay, so the picking of it up was stressful because it was a big pallet. But it was easy to get home. I had a 60-mile drive from where I picked it up to here. That was easy. Getting it off of the trailer was fairly simple with a pallet jack. I just kind of dragged it off with a pallet jack. I enlisted my 2 older brothers to come help me, and they showed up, and we built the same kind of a ramp to get it off that I built for my Felder joiner planer. I just put a sheet of 3/4 Baltic birch onto the side of that pallet as a ramp, and it came down. It came down. I mean, it's heavy, so it took us pushing back hard, but it came down with pretty much no drama. I didn't have to do the, you know, situation on the joiner for the Felder that I did with having to have the beds up to keep it at a certain, like, I don't know, tip point, because I could do it right from the front. So I pulled them from the front. I did it on the side yard because I have too much crap in here. I did it from the side yard over there, and then we walked it around and got it in here pretty easily. The footprint of this, believe it or not, is almost the same as the footprint of my Felder, which I know people are going to go, no way, it's not the same thing. But here's the difference. I think it's a little more compact in the way it's done. And then this like tube that comes out of the back, our bar, I should say, that supports this is really the only difference. And if I really needed to be any closer, then like many have probably shown before, it's got this kind of lock thing where you roll it all the way over to the end, and you can hear it kind of locks when you get it to that certain point. And then like now it's really small. Nothing hanging off the back side. On the Felder, I had the mobility kit. So the mobility kit added like an extra 3 inches or 4 inches on the back side, which this doesn't have. So, not a big deal. Okay, so let's get to it. The fit and finish on this. Oh, I guess I should talk about the actual like cutting of it. I'd say that the spiral cutter head from SCM is the same as the spiral cutter head I had from Felder. I think they're both great. I don't know that there's anything better about either one of them. They both cut great. I just did a bunch of maple yesterday, so it came out great. I'd say the fit and finish of this is the best of any machine I currently own. The way that it's painted, the front of this, I'd show you the inside of the cabinet, but that'd take me a little while to show you. The wiring is really, really well done inside the cabinet. There's really, and the finish on the castings is like incredible. I would put it up against anything. All the other companies that are out there that I see have some kind of, you know, marks from machining. This one doesn't. So far, a lot of people say that those marks make it easier for you to push the wood through. So far, I don't notice that, but I do use a lubricant when I'm on here. I got that new carbon method stuff that I put on top of the tabletops or the castings, and then I spray their lubrication. I also use Felder's lubrication method that they have also, where you spray on it. And at this point, I don't have any problem with pushing anything through or it working whatsoever. I like the fact that it had 0 hiccups. It worked amazing from the get-go. I didn't have to do anything whatsoever to it to solve it. I called up and got, I said I wanted some touch-up paint, because right over here there was a little chip. Now I don't know if I even care that much about it, but at the access panel at the bottom, there was a little tiny chip. They sent me the paint. I will probably mask it off really closely and paint it, because I'm crazy anal like that. But yeah, so far, like, this is really exceptional. The finish, the fit and finish, the quality, how heavy it is, the power, 0 issues whatsoever with this. And I think this will be one of those things that, unless I win the lotto and end up with a gigantic shop, I can't imagine that I would do anything different than having this as my joiner planer forever, until, I don't know, until they put me away. I am building a shop in the backyard, so that's a little bit of news also. That hopefully will start construction in the next couple of weeks, please. But yeah, what else can I say about this thing? Oh, it does 8 millimeters maximum cut on the planer. That's what they say. It does 6 millimeters maximum cut on the joiner. That's what it says. Again, it's full parallelogram, so it's really easy to just kind of move wherever you want it to go. You can go really small cuts to larger cuts. What don't I like about it? Huh. Okay, this is going to be incredibly picky. I don't like the fact that the power knob is so hard to twist. That would be one thing. Ooh, compare and contrast. Hold on. So the Martin, it's a TP32, by the way, that there's rumors that it's not going to come to America. Martin on Instagram a couple of days ago said they are bringing it to America. I don't know, but it's their joiner planer combo that looks very similar to their old unit that I think was called a TP300 that Grigio made for them. I think that since Grigio's out of business, they probably purchased everything about it and doing it themselves. So it can be purchased with an electric lift. So similar to this, where this is done with air up and down these big castings, They do it with with some kind of electric motor. I don't know how that works, but they've shown it. So that's one difference. The other difference is that the Martin comes with either 2 speeds or an infinite speed. So you can basically adjust it from a low speed to a higher speed. I'm assuming that that's a VFD that is involved to be able to do that, a variable frequency drive on a motor, so that a dial in the front can turn up and down the speed of that motor. I don't know what's better, the electronics that give you that ability, or the fact that it's mechanical and it's 4 speeds and they've been doing it forever. I don't know what the advantage or disadvantage of either one is, but I have no problem with the 4 speeds currently. The Martin comes with both kinds of cutter heads. The Martin comes with this particular, it's called the CPS cutter block kind of cover, or they come with that Suvomatic as an extra. I talked about that a second ago. The Martin has a digital readout, but it's much more similar to how my 8941 was from Felder, where you can just go up or go down and you have to kind of get close by tapping the buttons to get to the exact number. And it doesn't show on anything on a website that they have the ability to have this where you dial it in. They have other machines that they build that have this, but that particular machine doesn't. And that was kind of a deal breaker for me. I needed to have, I just was, if I make a mistake, I screw up a part and I need to come back and make another part with an exact thickness, I just wanted to be able to dial in the thickness that I needed and go. I didn't want to have to do what I did on my Felder, which I know these is massive luxury machines that no one needs. I mean, my first planer was a lunchbox planer that was loud and terrible. And I've just been fortunate, and now I'm at this thing where this is a total luxury. This is the Ferrari of joiner planer combos. So as far as what's available in America, that's all I know of that is a joiner planer combo that's a large one like this, would be the one from Felder. They make a 8951, and they make a Format 4, which is a nicer version that's a dual 51. That's what Felder has. SCM has 3. They have the Minimax FS52 ES, the Nova 520, and then this FS7 in Law Invincible. And then I think Martin is going to have that TP32. And as far as those are the only ones that I know of in the US that are available that are joiner planer combo that are 20-inch. There is, Bailey made one a little while ago. Don't know if it's still for sale or not. And then there are a couple of companies in Europe that make some really amazing machines. Hoffman and a couple of other ones too that are really amazing machines, but they're not imported to the US. So at this point, I think this is pretty much all there is. So I'm incredibly happy with it. It's very expensive. Hopefully it'll last me many decades into the future. Super happy with it. So happy that I actually ended up buying another SCM machine that I found on a great deal that you'll probably see from a different video angle that I've got going on here at the same time. So thanks for listening to this for however long this particular video is going to be for. Yeah, I could run through some lumber through here, but I'll be doing that over the course of the next, I don't know, couple of years on videos. So it's amazing. And yeah, don't know what else to say. Another compare and contrast, which you probably can only see from over here. So hopefully that camera's getting it. But the cover that they've got for the back of the cutter guard for SCM is so much nicer than what they did from Felder. It's a real piece of metal. It's on a roller, and it has 2 plastic hinges at the back. It does not vibrate. It does not do anything while you're using the machine. So, like, that's really cool. I like the fact that the air and the electric is off the back side at the same place. That's well done. And then It does come set up for a attachment on the backside for a mortising attachment. They've got ways that are actually machined on the back of it and ready to go, but I'm told that SCM does not offer that anymore, which is a bummer because I would so buy it. Yeah, the mortising attachment is all set up and ready to go. It's just not like there. So they don't sell it anymore, I should say. Hey, thanks for sticking around, and thanks everybody.